Hi, Tammy. How are you?
I'm great, Sid. How you doing?
I'm fine. Just getting used to the heat. Although it fluctuates. One day it's hot, the one day it's raining a lot. So it's kind of nice.
Oh, okay. Good. At least you got a little bit of a balance. You're not having too many hot days all the time.
That's true. Are you experiencing the same with all the... Oh, no, I think you went through the cool season, so you're okay.
Yeah, it's starting to get hot now. So I walked out
Oh,
during the day yesterday, and yeah, it is starting to get hot. It was about close on to 29 degrees in the day. So
wow.
yeah, it was pretty warm, but still manageable.
Awesome. As usual, it's always a pleasure to have you on the live, especially on today's topic, which is on yoga for the mind, body, and balance. So to get the ball rolling, what first drew you to yoga, and how has your relationship with the practice evolved over time?
So, my initial interaction with yoga, I was actually introduced by a friend because at the time I was going through a divorce, and she
Oh,
suggested to me that I needed yoga. It's basically helping you all round. And yoga is not just about, doing your stretches on a mat. There's so much more to it. It's like, like Sage, they follow Sage Patanjali's teachings, and it combines both the teaching, the breathing, the it's basically all round, and the mat work as well. So it was just something that I resonated with. I was very hesitant at first, but once I got into the practice, I just stuck with it, and it's now going on to 14 years.
okay. So you could say it's like in a way self-healing yoga.
Oh, most definitely. Really, really. Self healing. It's, and people, you become like this, sort of like this light, and you become like the spokesperson for yoga. So,
Wow.
yeah, it's definitely, it like portrays it, it's like a mirror effect on others.
Awesome. How does yoga support mental and emotional balance, not just physical flexibility?
So, with yoga, it's not just mat work, and it helps you balance the mental side and the emotional side as well. It helps you to regulate stress. You actually notice your thoughts. You become like a third person, noticing your thoughts without confusing or focusing yourself on unnecessary, clutter in your mind. It also strengthens your resilience. That's what I have found. And it sort of cultivates like an almost like an exercise of acceptance. You accept who you are, where you are, and what are your next steps, how are you going to move forward from this practice. And it creates that space before reacting to situations. So the flexibility in the body, I feel, is just the gateway to something more deeper than just flexibility. It's psychological, and it's the ability, I would say, to bend without breaking. So, like physically and metaphorically bending without breaking.
You kind of made me think of the movie Bend It Like Beckham when you were sick, when you were talking about bending too much.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool. All right, I got this question from Reshit. Hi, Tammy. Does yoga help with certain conditions which are minor, like constipation or dizziness?
Yes. So, thank you for the question, Resh. So, what I would say initially, the well, my yoga teacher back in South Africa, he does the online classes, and his yoga uh, center is called Yoga Sanyam. So he does the physical sessions and he does the online sessions. And what he does is he gives you things to balance, both the emotional side, the strength side, and your physical, your body. So he talks about eating habits. So the yoga session is sort of like 90 minutes. So he takes you through
Oh,
like eating habits, what you should and shouldn't do. When I first started yoga, I actually had adult acne, and
oh,
he told me, try to cut off milk. And I thought, how weird. I mean, I grew up with milk all my life. And he said to me, he said, remember, milk is meant for the cow to create bile to digest food. It's not meant for human consumption. And it really made me think. And I stopped it. It is now going on to 8 years that I've stopped milk. And I've never looked back. I've never missed it. Look, I substitute milk with almond milk, with nut milk, and so forth. But there's a lot more to just the practice of yoga. There's, as I mentioned, there's Sage Patanjali's teaching, which my yoga instructor, Ravi Govindar, he actually takes you through these processes. And I think like every 3 months, he takes you through a session, preferably like on a Sunday morning, where you do a system flush out, where it's like a concoction with salt, sugar, warm water, and then he does these forward bending exercises, the stretches. And I promise you, you would have gunk that you've had from 12 years old. You would have like a free flow system. And it's such a beautiful cleansing, and it's such a natural way of doing it, not invasive. So it
mm,
really helps you basically all around. And every time I did this, it gives you like so much clarity. It gives you that real proper detox. I hope
wow,
I've answered your question. Yeah.
awesome. What advice would you give beginners who feel intimidated or unsure about starting yoga?
Ooh, I was there at one stage. So, feeling intimidated is incredibly common. Because when you look at a yoga instructor or a yoga person, you see them doing these very awkward body movements, and you think, my gosh, how am I ever going to get there? But the good news is, yoga was never meant to be exclusive or acrobatic or perfect. It was never meant to be that.
Mm,
It's a practice of meeting yourself where you are currently. And I would tell any beginner, let go of the yoga body myth, because when I started, I saw everybody had these perfect bodies. Let go
mm,
of the body myth. Just accept your body where you are, and stay strong and just start. And the whole idea is consistency. So whether you can bend forward or bend backwards, it doesn't matter. The whole idea is to start small, like really, really small, even if you start with your breathing technique. So that's one thing I want to mention. Yoga also incorporates breathing. So remember, I told you I started when I was going through a divorce, and I had a very cluttered mind. And when you have a cluttered mind, it's extremely difficult to meditate. And my yoga teacher actually said to me, that is the best time to do it. So each time and it's a guided meditation as well. So each time you're forced to bring back your thinking into that breathing. So a lot of the breathing techniques, like the 4 square breath, I use almost on a daily basis. The humming bee breath, where you're basically holding your nostrils, your ears, and you're humming, and you get this vibration. So there's a lot that there's a lot more to yoga. And if you're curious about it, I would say go to a class, go to an initial class of maybe like a 90-minute class. And then if you want to start small, do 10 to 15 minutes and then gradually increase from there. There's also different styles of yoga, which people don't know about. There's like the beginner yoga, the restorative yoga, the hatha yoga, the yin yang yoga. When I did the yin yang yoga for the first time, I thought, oh my God, this is like so silly. You're basically like holding a position for like 2 to 3 minutes. And the next day, I was so sore from just these holding these simple positions. It's like, like bending forward or one leg behind you. You'll think that, oh, that's easy, that's child's play. I mean, children do this so often. But when you do it in adulthood, you actually feel, you think that yoga is not a workout, but you really do feel it. So slow and steady, but the whole idea is consistency. Do not feel ashamed to use props. Most of the yoga classes, they have the props of the little cushion between the knees or between the thighs. They have the little block that you sit on, the resistant bands. There's so much that there is there. Please, please, please feel free to use it. Do not feel shame to bring these things on, to use it. If your head doesn't excuse me, doesn't touch the floor, it's fine. Use the block. There's so much there that you can, and your yoga instructor will definitely guide you along the process. And each performance, it's not about perfecting it initially. Focus on the breath and not about your performance. So even if you're feeling lost in class, bring yourself back to your breathing technique, and the slow inhale, the slow exhale. Don't rush things. And remember, everyone started where you are. Everyone started where you are. And experienced practices, or experienced practitioners, I should say, they've also started there. And they just continued because they found the niche in the yoga practice. And yoga I know this for a fact. My yoga teacher often said, he had difficulty like doing the dolphin pose. You get wobbly balances. So everybody starts somewhere in life, but just continue the practice and keep redefining your success is not about like touching your toes on the first time. If you can't touch your toes, it's fine. Just show up. Be there for yourself, for your mental health, for your body.
Awesome. How can yoga help people manage stress, anxiety, and burnout in today's fast-paced world?
So I would suggest to anybody that has got a fast-paced job, that has got emotional stress, running around with kids. A lot of people, I get this all the time. I don't have time. Get up
Hmm.
half an hour earlier. Start small. And yoga helps you manage the stress. I'm talking from experience. Yoga helps you manage the emotional trauma, helps you manage to calm the nervous system down. So it becomes like a training session almost, and it becomes a training session of you being attentive to your body, to your emotions, the slow breathing, the mindful movement. It helps you shift the body out of fight or flight mode and into a more relaxed, calm situation. Like I mentioned previously, you tend to look at yoga, you tend to look at a situation, as a third person. You don't, every situation does not require you, does not require a reaction or an action. You tend to pick, choose, and refuse how you want to react, whether you want to react. So steadier and calmer baseline would lead to a better fulfilled yoga session.
Lovely. Do you believe yoga can complement other healing or spiritual practices, and how?
Oh, most definitely, most definitely. So I am a Reiki practitioner. I'm an EFT practitioner. I do Diksha. There's a lot that I do. There's other modalities and yoga. And sometimes what I do is I incorporate those with yoga. I do the Kundalini meditation as well, where you basically aligning your chakras, and I do certain forms or certain practices of yoga incorporated with that. The breath work and the awareness, I would say, is of paramount importance. And I would say marrying these or coupling these other modalities, healing practices, it just enhances certain practices, especially with yoga. The With therapy, yoga can increase body awareness, your emotional regulation. It can make the process of feeling a lot more in tune with your body, and you become more aware of emotional triggers, what triggers you, and you become more aware overall of yourself. So with meditation, the movement, the preparation of the body, how to sit comfortably, focus. It's classical teachings of yoga that can be incorporated with other holistic healing modalities, which just enhances everything. And here I'm speaking from absolute experience, because I do inculcate yoga into most of my other healing modalities.
You mentioned Kundalini. What type of yoga is that?
So Kundalini is not a yoga, it's a chakra actually.
Oh,
It's your
sorry, I
base
misunderstood.
chakra. So it's your base
Okay.
chakra. So the Kundalini meditation basically starts at the base of your spine, and it goes
Okay.
through each of your chakras, and it's awakening of the chakras. And with each awakening, with each chakra, concentration on each chakra, you actually feel, sometimes it took me like the third session to actually feel something. You'd feel like probably like a shiver up your spine, or like something crawling up your spine. So it's really the awakening of the Kundalini from the base to the root chakra. And it creates this almost like, so when I'm in meditation, when I'm doing this meditation, the Kundalini awakening, I almost feel like a fountain, like a firework. It starts at the base, and it like really it opens up each chakra. And during each chakra, so we go through the base, which is the Muladharana. It's the root chakra. You can actually go from the base to the sacral chakra, to the navel, to the heart, the anahata, the throat chakra, the third eye, the back of the neck, and the crown chakra. So when you go through these chakras, you actually feel like something opening up. And what I would suggest is, when your kundalini is opened, you're actually more susceptible to the baddies. So if you're doing it for the first time, do it with a practitioner, do it with an experienced person, because when you do open up your kundalini with the practice, you need to close it as well, so you're not susceptible to these negative energies. Remember, the world, we're all surrounded by energies. The world is full of energies, so we need to close that down, so we're not susceptible to the negative, the baddies that are out there.
Awesome. Finally, what is one simple yoga practice or habit people can incorporate daily for long-term well-being?
So, two things that I personally do, and even my 22-year-old son does the same thing. If I could
Okay.
suggest to anybody that if you could start with just 6 Surya Namaskars every day. So the Surya Namaskar incorporates the whole body of stretching. So you start with your feet together, you go right back, bending backwards, then you bend forward, you go into a like a lizard position, then you go into the cobra. So it's stretching the whole body, and then you go into the down dog, stretching your lower spine. Anybody, even if you are aging. So something that I practice every day is I sit a lot. And when I sit a lot, I find my lower back tends to sort of ache. One of the best things for lower back pain is the malasana. So you're sitting, you're basically going down, your feet are shoulder width apart, and you're going down in a squat position, and your elbows are basically pushing out your knee. And if you could sit like that for at least 3 minutes a day, I promise you, there is no back pain. You'll find your
Wow.
thinking is much clearer. So I've got a timer on my phone. So every hour, I put on the timer. I either do 10 chair poses, which is a squat with you. It's basically like how you're sitting on a chair, but there is no chair. So you're going up and you're squatting in a very slow, it's not rushed. It's very slow because as you get older, your knees, the first thing is your knees, your legs start giving up. And remember, our legs are beneficial to us. It carries our body weight. So one of the first signs of aging is your legs, your knees giving up. And I do the malasana. I sit for 3 minutes every hour, sitting for 3 minutes in the malasana pose. And then I do in the hour, one is the malasana and one is the 10 chair poses. So if you can do that, especially if you've got, people can look at you, whether you're in an office job or not, people can look at you funny, but it's your future. It is your body. Do you want to be old and croaky? And I know people come into yoga for the first time, we actually hear like cracking of bones, and it's so loud. And eventually, when you use something, you're lubricating it, you're lubricating those joints, and it does enhance the the longevity of those joints. So if you were thinking of yoga, if you read up on, or you look at some YouTube channels or TikTok stories, I know of people that started yoga when they were 80.
Wow.
There was one teacher back in South Africa in the waterfall area. She started yoga at 75. And man, she was more flexible than I was. So one of the poses that I still find difficult is the dolphin pose, where you're going totally across. My feet still can't touch the ground. But I'm there. I would say I'm 90% there. And I'm doing it for 14 years. And I'm 90% there. So this is what I say: daily action, consistency. Try and get to a yoga class once or twice a week, and get to, initially, even if you do watching a YouTube video, but what I would suggest is go to an actual class, because the guru, the yoga guru, the teacher, they can guide you whether you're doing the poses right or wrong. Because remember, sometimes if you misplace your foot, you can actually cause some sort of injury. But if initially, go to a class where you are guided by a yoga practitioner, a yoga guru, somebody that can guide you along in the class. So those are the two things that I would suggest to or three things I would say. It's the Surya Namaskar, at least 6 a day. The Malasana, which is the squatting right down to the ground, and the chair pose. So if you can do 10 of those every hour, you're going to have a brilliantly healthy body in your old age.
Awesome. As usual, always a pleasure to have you, and yeah, I'll catch you again next week.
Most definitely. Thank you so much. Love and light to all the listeners and the viewers. We'll catch up next week.
Take care.